Let's talk some Alex Caruso coming into his third Bull season, just like his teammate DeMar DeRozan. Coming off a year in which he played a career-high 67 games. He did play 64 for the Lakers in the COVID-shortened 1920 season. But a career-high 67 last year, starting 36 of them, and celebrating only other Bull alongside DeMar DeRozan to get a little bit of NBA award hardware for his trophy case. All-star DeMar and all defensive first team Alex Caruso. Perhaps one of the most valuable contracts in the NBA at large right now. We all know what Caruso does for this team, setting the tone defensively, the perimeter defense, the steals that lead to easy buckets in transition. And when I started thinking about what I want to see from Caruso this season, it basically is what Sports Chicago Style just said there in the comments: stay on the court. He had 67. So I have a sort of like a twofer goal for Caruso this year, which is basically prove again what you proved last year. I want 65 games played, and knowing about the league's new rules for the season-long awards, all NBA teams, all defensive teams, you need to hit that 65-game threshold to qualify. So play those 65 games at minimum, Alex, and make the all-defensive team again, because that is why you are important to this team.
You are in my brain because I also chose something very similar. I just said repeat as first team all defense because a lot has to go right in order for that to happen. One, the Bulls have to have success not only as a team but as a defense. Last year, 5th overall, first after All-Star break, which is just still mind-blowing to me. And I would say the vast majority of that is as a result of Alex Caruso being an absolute menace on that end. And I did not ever lose interest or stop having fun promoting his candidacy for first team all defense. And I don't think that will be the case again next year. He was outstanding. I think for him to get there, it would have to meet the 65 games played number. It would require him to play a lot of minutes, and it would require the Bulls to be a really good defense. And if all those three things can happen, then they're going to have a chance to be, a play-in team. And that's what they want to do. A lot of this hinges on a $9 million a year role player, which is crazy. But that's how good he is. That's how impactful he is. And for him to be able to do that again, I think it would just show you that the Bulls were successful this year.
So I went a little differently, and y'all might disagree with me on it. But it's not to say I don't think Alex Caruso and what I think about him and how incredible he is, especially defensively. Making first team all defense, I know made my man Will Gottlieb's nipples hard. And I know it made him super happy. So,
Lordy.
Because he was amazing. Seriously, that dude is special when it comes to defense. To watch what he does, and you've seen so many possessions where he literally guarded the 5 people. You watched him do it and then call out everything that was going to happen, get the rebound, and then start the break. You watched him do those things. He's special. But you all know, I have said consistently about Alex Caruso, what I think about him is I think he's rims. I think he's a luxury item that for a team that is ready to win. I think he is a person that you go get a specialist that is ready to win. So that's kind of my prove it this year, is to prove that you are not rims. So again, he had career highs in games played, games started, efficient field goal percentage, free throws, blocks. It was his highest field goal percentage. He had all these career highs in those things. When I look at the games where Alex Caruso played for the Bulls this season, the Bulls were 33-34. And without him on the floor, they were 7-8. So even in the year previously, with Alex Caruso, they were 24-17. Without him, they were 22-19. So for me, I don't know what I lose. I know what I lose defensively with Alex Caruso. I get that. But I need the scoring from Alex Caruso. I'm not saying that he has it or not. I don't know. But I know that's what the Bulls were truly lacking, was that scoring ability. Sometimes he had those brain farts. I still remember, was that the Pacers they played where he couldn't inbound the ball on 2 straight possessions. They couldn't get it in. They called a timeout, and he still couldn't get the ball in. He's had, those brain kind of fart things happen to him. But I need it more so to affect that winning, that bottom line of it. I understand when he's in, that's the best rotation they have. Those are the highest numbers that they put up as far as the ratings and all those things are concerned. But I needed to affect that bottom line a little bit more when Alex Caruso is on that floor. Even when I look at that play-in game against the Heat, he had a great game. I mean, he had 16 points. He shot 4-8 from 3. He was awesome. He played like 30 minutes. And people barely remember. All they remember is Kobe White not being on the floor, because that's the reason that you didn't win. It wasn't the 16 points. It helped, but you needed Zach LaVine to have those 16 points. You needed him to put those things forward. So I wanted more to affect winning. I want him to prove more that he's not a luxury item, that he is a necessity for this team to actually truly win.
Yeah, along those lines of wanting some more offense from Caruso, Dave, I think you're not alone there. I've seen some people in our comments talking about wanting Caruso to up his three-point percentage, maybe even increase the number of attempts. Because, like as you just said, these past couple of years, we've seen games where Caruso will knock down 3 or 4 threes, and you're like, oh, we got offense Caruso tonight. Great. That's helpful. And then there are nights where you peep the box score, and you're like, okay, Caruso played, 31 minutes tonight, and he scored 0 points. And, shout out to our guy Marquet, who has said repeatedly, and I think he is right in a lot of ways, Caruso can still be this team's most valuable player on nights when he scores 2 points or 4 points because of huge plays he makes on the defensive end. But I think you're right too, Dave, in that you'd ideally get something else from him on the offensive end. He's not going to break down defenses off the dribble, but if he can, sorry to whose comment it was, I lost it was a while back. Just knock down your corner threes when you're open, or your elbow threes when you're open. If you can do that, last season, Caruso knocked him down at 36.4%. That's great.
That's respectable. Yeah.
2.3 attempts per game. So, he's not chucking them up a lot, but if you can give me 36% again, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I think we also need to keep in context, Caruso is a role player. He's not one of your franchise driving players, as good as he is. And take this for what it's worth, it's obviously not everything, but he did lead the team in point differential by a significant margin. According to Cleaning the Glass, plus 9.7 points per 100 possessions when Caruso was on the floor, which leads to, by their metrics, a plus 24 expected wins, which by far the most valuable player on this team. And that's only part of that's part of it. We all watch his impact. We see that, but you're right. I mean, he's not like he's a perfect, well-rounded player, but he is, especially for being a role player, I think one of the most impactful in the entire NBA.
Sure.
And I think being able to maximize the jump shooting, we've seen him operate as a screener a little bit, baseline cutting, those are all ways that he can maximize his value on the other end, on the offensive end, and he needs to do those things. But if we're just getting what we got last year, for me, that's going to mean success. So that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see more of it too, man. I just want to see more of it. And you're right, he is a role player. And I think it's because of his importance that I kind of say these things, even though with him being a role player, of his importance to this team and what he impacts. I put these kind of things on him. So, and it's simplified because you can point to DeMar DeRozan and be like, I know why we won or lost because of how he played, and I can do that with Zach LaVine too, and I can do that sometimes with Vooch, and I can definitely do that with Patrick Williams because I'm like, if he's scoring, the Bulls ain't losing. But guys like Caruso, I want to be able to do that too as well. Even though they're role players, I want to be able to do that too as well because I can kind of do it with Kobe White. Damn, he went 1 for 9 tonight. Well, you know what I'm saying? I know why we didn't win this 3-point battle or something like that. But Caruso can come out and get you 5 steals, 5 blocks, and do all those things beyond the simple numbers that people might look at. But at the end of the day, you're like, well, I still lost this game. And that's what I wanted to affect a little bit more is those things. I wanted to affect more so the outcome of the game as far as the winning is concerned, and not necessarily every cool thing that's happening and going on within. I need the bottom line to be affected a little bit more. because he starts. Like we talk about him being a starter and all
Yeah.
these other kind of things. You know what I mean?
AK, shout out to our guy AK in the comments saying, Caruso also gets people in position to defend through his communication. And that, I think, like, honorable mention goal for me for Caruso this year is to maintain that and also maybe even increase it a little bit when you talk about the leaders on this team. Where is leadership coming from? Because DeMar and Zach are the two most talented players, and DeMar is obviously the most, long-tenured NBA vet. And some of the young guys look up to him. People talk, fondly about how DeMar takes the young guys under his wing, whether it's Pat, Dalen, Kobe, off-season training and workouts with him. And there is some element to that. But if the Bulls are going to be an elite defensive team again next season and prove that this past season wasn't a fluke, some of those guys need somebody to get, as you would say, Big Dave, in the ass when they are not bringing that defensive intensity. And Caruso, like you have proven, Caruso, first team all defense last season, you are elite in an important way in the NBA. You have the right to yell at DeMar or yell at Zach or whoever it might be if on any given night they are dogging it on defense. Because was it Caruso's first training camp here 2 years ago where he had that one quote after one of their practices where he was like, I can't believe just the complete lack of talking that was going on the defensive end. You got to talk. And when Caruso's not out there, the Bulls don't talk. So be a leader, Caruso. I want to see that too.
It's honestly crazy because that was what Adam Amin said when he came on too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just lack of communication. It's crazy that they were as good as they were last year for a lot of reasons, but I think that's a big one.